All right, year 11. So we've looked at simple interest, which kind of relates to arithmetic sequences, but now we're looking at compound interest, which more so relates to geometric sequences. With simple interest, what was happening was each time period, the amount was going up by the same amount. So it might increase by 500 the first year, then might increase by 500 the second year, and so on and so on. This time with compound interest, it won't go up at the same amount each time, but it will go up at the same rate, which I've got written here. And that rate might be increased by, it might be doubled, it might be increased by 5%, etc., etc. So I'll try to show you what I mean by this first example here. So let's just say someone invests $100 and there's an interest rate of 10% per annum, so per year. Find the value of the investment after 1, 2, and 3 years. Okay, so we start with 100 right at the start, and it's increasing by 10%. All right, now 10% of 100 is $10, so it's going to increase to $110. So that's our value at the end of the first year, but it's going to increase by another 10% to get to here. Now 10% of this is $11, so if I add $11 there, it's going to be $121. So see how we increase by 10, then we increase by 11? So it's not that same amount each time, but it is the same rate. We increase by 10%, we increase by 10%. If I increase by another 10%, that means I should be adding $12.10. So this next one is going to be $133.10. See how it's not the same amount each time, but it is the same rate? So that's what we're going to be looking at here, but most of the time you're going to be using your calculator to do this, using something called the financial solver, which I'm about to show you on your calculator. All right, I'm going to show you how to get into and use this financial solver that we'll use to work out compound interest problems. Firstly, we'll start a calculator, then menu. We're doing finance stuff, so number 8, finance, and then we go into finance solver. So this is a tool that we're going to be using to solve a lot of problems that you have. So it seems like there's a lot going on here, and I'm going to show you what each of them are. But basically, this whole thing here, it is a little sort of calculator that you just fill in the gaps, and then you leave one blank, and when you press enter, it will give you the answer in that space. All right. So let me go through each of these things. N means the number of years that your investment is going for. So if you're told that the investment's for 5 years, N would be 5. If you're told it's for 10 years, N would be 10. I, this one here, is the interest rate, and that's as a percentage. So if you're told the interest rate is 5%, you'd put 5 in there. If you're told that it's 10%, you'd put the number 10 in there. PV means, and if you click on these things, it actually tells you what they are down the bottom here. PV is the present value. Okay, so if we start with, I don't know, make an investment of $1,000, you'd be putting 1,000 in there, except it can be a little bit confusing because you can have positive and negative numbers in here. Now, the way I think we should think about this is if we have $500 and we're depositing it, that means it's no longer in our hand. So in our hand, we have negative $500. Okay, so if you have money in your hand, it would be a positive number. If money is no longer in your hand physically, it's going to be a negative number. Now the next one, payments. This is always going to be 0 for you. So this is talking about whether you're putting extra investment in or you're taking money out of it, but that's always going to be 0, so you don't need to worry. FV is the future value. So that's what you're going to be working out pretty often. So it might be, for example, if you're making an investment of however much money with whatever interest rate, we're going to find out this. PPY is payments per year. So often this is just going to be 1, but if you're told that it compounds quarterly, that means your payments per year would be 4. If you're told that it compounds monthly, your payments per year would be 12. And these two here, so payments per year and compound periods, they're always the same. So if it's just 1 per year, we'll just leave it at 1. And the bottom thing here, it's just talking about the time period. So we're talking about money at the end of 1 year or at the end of 1 month or whatever. We don't want at the beginning, we want at the end. What I might do is do our first question from your worksheet that you're going to be working on today. in this finance solver just so we can see exactly how it's used. So let me go to it. All right. So we've got our finance solver open. It's told us that the value at the start is $500. So we're investing $500. Ends 2. So we have an investment for 2 years, and R is 8, which means the interest rate is 8%. So let's put some of those values in. All right, now it told us the investment was for 2 years. The interest rate was 8%. And the present value was $500. Now we had $500 in our hand and we're making that investment. So that $500 is no longer in our hand anymore. So we'd be putting $500 into it. So minus $500 from our hand. This is always going to be 0. Future values, what we're trying to find out. These two, it didn't say anything about compounding monthly or quarterly, so we leave it at 1. Now I want to find out the future value. So I'm going to click on that, press enter, and it's told me that my future value is going to be $583.20. So from that $500 investment that I put in, I had it in there for 2 years, it had an 8% interest rate, and I've come out with $583. So I've made $83.20 in 2 years from that investment. So again, depending on the question, you're going to put different numbers in here. Whatever you're trying to find out, you'll press enter on. So let's just say we didn't know what the present value was, but we're told that the future value was 600. If I go up here and press enter on present value, it's telling me that I must have made a $514 deposit or investment. Again, you might be told that it compounds monthly. So there's 12 months in a year. So I'll put 12 in there. And I want to find out, let's say, I'll get rid of that. And we've had a $500 investment. Jeez. There we go. I want to find out the future value. There we go. So, as you can see, what you want to find out, you'll have nothing in there and then you'll press enter. But it's basically just about filling in each of these gaps with information that you've been given. So have a go at that and let me know if you need a hand.